Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of Micah Go Go Go. And in today's episode, we're going to be doing a final little bacteriological cleanup method, the last one that I know of, the third and final method. And it's basically just using a different type of agar that is deprived of any kind of nutrients. It's called water agar. It's basically just water and agar. We're not going to be using any potato flakes or any other kind of nutrient or sugar or sorghum syrup or anything else. It's just water and agar. Okay. And there's just like any other kind of method you use, there's pros and cons, right? Really the major con with using water agar is anything you put on, it's going to grow slow, right? That can be a good thing though. If you're trying to clean up bacteriological contamination, for instance, it can inhibit the bacterial growth more so than the mycelium growth because of the lack of nutrients, right? Another good benefit of water agar, because of the same basic reason and the fact that spore prints are inherently usually not sterile and prone to bacteriological contamination. It's good to take your spore prints or your spore swabs or spore syringe, anything with spores, and to put it to water agar first. The reason being basically for the same reason. It's nutrient deprived, and any bacteria that might potentially be on there is going to be inhibited by the fact that there's little to no nutrient value in the water agar. So this is my third and final method I'm going to be showing you guys. It's basically going to be making agar, but we're going to be doing other things while it's cooking. Like I'm going to show you guys one other potentially contaminated liquid culture that I have, and I'm going to try to inoculate some clean agar cups that I have ready with that, and we're going to try to clean that up too. I also have a syringe of the other liquid culture that I tried to clean up and failed with the other two methods that I might be using for I may also use that syringe on some water agar, see if I can clean it up that way. It's the last and final method I can possibly use on it, and if I can't clean it up that way, then it really is just a loss. You know what I mean? I'll have to just start over from spores. So basically we got everything we need. We got our little bit of charcoal. It's not necessary, but I'm going to use a little bit. Distilled water. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Got my agar powder. Need that. Got my pack of smokes. Gonna need that, right? I'm kidding. It's a skill. Need my pack of smokes. Can't forget that. All right. One thing I did forget though was my measuring cup. My little plastic measuring cup. And I don't think I have a plastic one. We only have these heavy duty metal ones in here, and that ain't gonna work for what I need it for. So I'm gonna go grab my my clean measuring cup upstairs real quick, and I'll be right back. Guess who's back again. All right. Got my scissors, my measuring cup. See if I can get you guys a better angle here. All right. Well, actually, first, what I should do. Rinse off my dusty jar. Clean up my water I just spilled. Jesus. How did that happen? All right, so I should probably get some water in here and go ahead and heat it up and get some water in my pot and get that heating up while I do up my measurements. Usually I'm more prepared before I do my video, but I've been scrambling to get a bunch of other stuff done that I've been doing, and it's just like, sometimes I just got too much on my plate at one time, and it all just like, I was trying to clean my room earlier too on top of everything else, and then give ample time for the dust to settle because my room was starting to get dusty again already. I like to keep my room as dust free as I can because it gets rid of a lot of potential contamination vectors, right? Dust is a huge contamination vector. It's potential contamination, just like my breath. I just brush my teeth, took a shower, blah, 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 fresh clothes, cover all my bases. Like I always say. Okay, so I think for 500, it was 500 milliliters to 10 grams of agar. So, got my distilled water. What's up, bro? What up, Tasman? How's it hanging, bro? How's your day going so far? All these jars I cleaned up, and then first I hand cleaned them, then I ran them in the dishwasher, then I rinsed them pretty good. I hand washed the plastic lids, even though they wouldn't run in a dishwasher. I just they're new anyway. Never used these ones yet. I like these lids; they're really nice. They also withstand the pressures of putting them in a pressure canner, and you can reuse them multiple times before they're no longer any good. Because eventually they do start to kind of warp a little bit, and then you have to do something like put coffee filters over the jar and the lid, or put parafilm or grafting tape around where the lid meets the jar, which can be kind of hard to do. So it's easier just to take 2 coffee filters, double them up, put them over your jars when they're not in use, put a rubber band around them so they're not getting all dusty. That's one thing I neglected to do with my 2 liquid cultures, which is why they're probably contaminated. And that and the fact that they got kicked around aggressively by someone with big feelings. Here's all my jars I'm going to be using for my no-pour agar. Why no-pour is such a great technique to use when making agar is because it eliminates a lot of potential error, right? There's a lot of room for error when you're having to take fresh sterilized agar and expose it to the air. And even when you're pouring it in your still air box, unless you're in front of a laminar flow hood, it's always going to be a bit risque. A little risky, contamination. It's just there in the air, man. So one way to eliminate all that room for error is to go ahead and mix up your agar and blah, blah, blah. Get it ready before you sterilize it. Pour it in your jars you're going to use, right? You can't do this with commoner cups, but you can do it with jars. You can do it with glass petri dishes, from what I've heard. You can do it with autoclavable petri dishes, from what I've heard. I've never done that with petri dishes. I just use jars because I feel like jars are just a better choice for no pour. But I've heard you can do it with petri dishes, as long as if they're plastic, they're autoclavable, and if they're glass petri dishes that are made heavy duty. So get some little jars like this. This is preferred because otherwise you're going to have to use jars like this. And when it's still hot, you're going to have to turn it on its side so that you can work on the side of it. It's just easier than having to work in the bottom of this jar. It's you don't want to do that. I don't. So I got all these clean jars. I got at least 7 because, for one thing, I always recommend that if you're starting over from spores, right, you always want to put it to agar. You don't want to just take your spore swab and waste a whole spore swab by putting it to one agar plate, one agar dish, right? That's a waste, and it's potentially not going to be successful. You want to increase your probability, your chances, your odds of success. And one way of doing that is by trying to take one spore swab and put it to at least 7 or more. Around, I'd say around 7. Ow, that's hot. But I need it to be hot. Around 7 to 10 petri dishes per swab. Just increase your odds of having any success. Your audio gets a bit choppy at times. That sucks. Let me see if maybe it's because of where I'm at. I'll move this away from the metal sink a little bit. Maybe the sink is blocked, messing up my set. Let me know if it gets any better or not, if that helped at all. I tried moving it away. The dang Wi-Fi router is literally like 5 feet away, so I should have a great signal. You know what I mean? I should. So yeah, anytime you're doing anything with spores, you want to do it on more than just one, right? You want to do it on at least 7 to 10 petri dishes per swab. All right, so I got my really hot water. It's ready to pour some agar in. It's just going to be agar and charcoal because I like to put charcoal in it. You could just do the food coloring thing. For whatever reason, red doesn't work very well. Don't use red. For whatever reason, red food coloring or food dye inhibits mycelial growth or something. That's what I heard. I've never even tried, but I use charcoal to give it a little bit of darkness. But it's not even 100% necessary. You can use just you were coming in loud and clear. Cool. So I got a metal. I'm just going to show the chat. I have a metal, an all metal plate or lid for a pot that I'm putting in here. Let me turn the surface light on. Right? That's what I'm using as my trivet. And I'm going to fill the water up to just at the same level as that trivet, as not really the middle part, but like the main part of it. I'm going to fill it up. You don't want your jars on the bottom of your pot because they'll get so hot that they'll fracture, or you don't want that. You don't want them on the bottom of the pot. So what I do is I put a bunch of like metal jar rings. Took like 4 of them and threw them in the bottom to keep that like kind of level from moving too much, and it works. DIY. So cold, super hard. Is that you, Nate Dog? Nate Dog, DOGG. Could be my phone tripping out as far as the audio goes, man. Oh damn, I'm sorry about that. It could be on my end because sometimes my internet just like cuts out. Like I've got kicked off the stream before when I'm the only one using the Wi-Fi at that time. It's crazy. I don't think I put enough water. There we go. That's all to do it. All righty. Aphrodite. So now we're gonna do our measurements. I'm sorry, there's this bright ass light behind you. It's me, amigo. What up, Nate? What up, Nate Dog? Good to have you in the chat, dude. Happy to have you. All right, so I'm gonna turn on. I got my handy dandy pack of cigarettes. that I'm using as a scale. And this is my measuring cup I'm using to weigh stuff in, so I'm going to set it on there. All right. I'm going to move that where y'all can see. It's about 14.83. So 14 grams, almost 15. And I'm going to tear that. And it says there's nothing there. Like magic. It's magical. Got my Agar powder from Bangkok, Thailand. Bangkok. What's the capital of Thailand? Bangkok. Flick it like a pack of Kool-Aid. They're pretty heavy duty packets, so you ain't gotta worry about it ripping open. They're heavy duty. Heavy duty. Like Rudy to booty. Heavy duty. All right, so I'm looking for 10 grams, give or take, close enough, right? There's 5. Whoa. Well, it's just a little bit over 10. That's fine. A lot of it just suddenly like flowed right out. That's fine. It's a 10.36. That's fine. I like how accurate the scale is. All right. Oh, right. I say that a lot. All right. All right. How are y'all doing out there? Nate, you out there planting them plants? Dude, what you planting? I think you told me, but man, I already forgot, dude. Like, my memory ain't what it used to be. A little bit of activated charcoal that I had backed up. Thank God I had a little bit somewhere. I think I was using it for cleaning something. Because I can't seem to find any activated charcoal at the grocery store around here. I used to go into Dollar Tree and they got it, you know what I mean? Like, there's no Dollar Tree in Mountain Home. There used to be, apparently. All right, so that was like a gram, basically a gram. It was like a gram. I put a gram of activated charcoal. All right, so that's the Agar. That's the charcoal. 1 gram of charcoal. I got my really hot water. It's still pretty hot. I put the cap back on to keep it hot. I'm gonna grab my mixing spoon. Oh, I should already have this like starting to heat up. Sorry, y'all. Been a little distracted lately. I know I already told Terrence. I don't think I told you, Nate, that I've been coming up with this like story. It's got this whole story in my head, man. I'm like coming up with this like story, dude. It's gonna be cool though. I wasn't going to, but like I kind of got inspired by like using ChatGPT to make characters and stuff for the thumbnails for my videos, and then I wasn't even trying to, but I just inadvertently started like coming up with like backstories for them, you know what I mean? And then it kind of just organically grew from there. Now I got a pretty badass like story I'm coming up with to teach people in another way about mycology stuff, but in a cool way, you know. It would make a lot more sense if I were to explain it more, but I don't want to give too much away and it's going to steal my idea, you know what I mean? They're gonna steal my ideas. I'm growing peppers. I'm growing 49 of them. Are they all the same kind? Are they the good spicy kind? Or are they like bell peppers or something? I like the good hot spicy burn your fucking mouth and your butthole kind. You know what I mean? What's up, Nate? It's Terrence, man. Terrence said, What up, Big T?" Man, y'all are like my two best friends, honestly. Like, it's cool that I got y'all on here, dude. It's been too long since we all three got to kick it. You know what I mean? It's cool that we can kind of do that through these live streams. All right, so I'm gonna dump this stuff in here. And as I'm doing that, I'm gonna try to mix it. Damn it. I'm not always very good at doing that. I kind of got it on my thumb and my finger. It's all right, though. Like I always say, you can't overmix it, but you can definitely undermix it. So those Carolina Reapers and Scorpions, man. Oh yeah, dude. Them Reapers ain't nothing to fuck with. Taking a little nibble of a Carolina Reaper is like tickling the dragon's butthole. I mean, tail. It's burning his butthole. It would burn a dragon's butthole. Ow! I honestly never knew that was a thing, man, that you could get the fire shits up until I ate some Carolina Reapers. And then I was like, oh my God, like I thought people were fucking around. But no, it's a real phenomenon. Forgot to grab my aluminium. I think it's funny when people get pissed trying to fucking pull out aluminum foil without pulling the roll out, you know? Like they don't know there's these little notches on the side. Life hacks with Blaze. My name is Blaze. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Life hacks. Oh wait. Safety is number one priority. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. I'm not the crazy Russian hacker, but shout out to the crazy Russian hacker for coming up with a good intro, if nothing else. That dude's been YouTubing for a while. I just started. I'm a newbie. I'm growing these Primo Lucifer XL. I'm growing these ones called bubblegum. I highly doubt they taste like bubblegum. Yeah, I doubt it. That'd be cool if they did, though. Yeah, cool if you did. I remember Mom grew these peppers in the garden. Around the time we were growing those Carolina Reapers, they were called Peter peppers. And they look kind of funny, if you can imagine. Peter peppers. You ever grown those? Hey, I love hot food and hot peppers more than anything. Yeah, I do too, except for when it comes, there's a limit. When it gets to the Carolina Reaper, I'm good on all that. Because I've grown them. They look like something you wouldn't want to put in your mouth, you know what I mean? They look evil. Like it grew straight from the devil himself. I don't believe in the devil. I just like to say shit, say like, oh, the devil himself, praise Jesus. I'm not religious like that. I do believe in a higher power, y'all, but I don't really personally believe in the devil. You that cooler? You did? No. No. Some people are just crazy as fuck, honestly. That's enough mixing. I don't want to piss my dad off. He's trying to go to bed. I didn't know he was going to try to go to bed this early, but I'm trying to stop banging up crap. Yeah, I don't need that. So now what I'm going to do, let's see. Let me check the chat. I am a fire breather, LOL. I can't eat food if it doesn't have spice. You know, I used to be the same exact way for a long time. I mean, it's highly dependent on what it is, but for the most part, I like spicy shit. You know, it seems like I like spicy shit more than most people. I don't know. I started boiling a bit quicker than it usually does. Turn it down a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to pour a little tiny bit of the agar mixture into each jar. This is how we do no pour agar, guys. You pour it into what you're going to be using before you sterilize it. Be careful not to spill. This is why I wish I still had my Douce bottle. Because it's like perfect for pouring agar and not spilling. Remember, the benefit of doing it this way is just the fact that, you know, it eliminates a lot of room for error. I honestly didn't do no pour for the first like 2 or 3 years. I never even attempted it, you know. Not even sure if I knew about it, or I'm sure I did. I just, you know, never felt it necessary. Just like I've actually never done water agar. Some people swear by it, you know, and say it's the best way to germinate your spores and not get bacteria with it. I've never done it, but I always wanted to try it. You know, I just never necessarily I've never struggled so much with getting spores to germinate without bacteria being embedded and not being able to clean it up using one of the other methods. You know what I mean? I like these jar lids. They're a lot better than the metal ones. You know, the metal ones do rust, you know, and stuff like that. They degrade very quickly. These ones not so much, and they're good for modding. You know, like I can drill holes in them, put silicone or a self-healing injection port on one side, and then polyfill or a filter patch on the other hole, and then boom, I got a perfectly modded lid for doing liquid culture or grain spawn or whatever. I notice sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I'm just like on autopilot. I don't script any of this, you know what I mean? I just kind of go with the flow. I have a basic idea of what I'm going to do. But if I ever run into some like issue, I'm just going to look like an idiot. I don't know how to edit videos. It's like I was trying to show how to use this hydraulic punch driver to put holes in a tote to make a still air box, and I put the wrong size bit on it to start out. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong here? I just made myself look kind of dumb, but I quickly corrected myself. Oh, shit. I don't want to wait until this stuff solidifies. That's a lot for that one. Let's see which one's kind of low. This one. There's barely any left. Like a drop. And for anyone who doesn't already know, agar powder it's derived from red algae, and people who don't like to eat animal parts but still like Jello, right, can use agar powder. Gushers, the candy. I know y'all have had Gushers. I have. I like them, except for when they all get squished and they're already gooey before you get them out of the bag. That's the only thing I kind of suck. That's the one con about fruit Gushers and stuff. But Gushers are made out of agar powder. Look at the package. Not lying. Check it out. So I only want these lids like finger tight. Actually, with this one, it has the filter patch. This one has a filter patch on it and the self-filling injection port. So I could just tighten this one all the way down. It doesn't matter because it has a hole. It's not going to be able to build. It has this filter patch right here. You know, it has a hole through the lid. It's not going to build up pressure and then cause the jar to shatter. But with all these other ones, the lids are not yet modded. I don't need them to be. If I do, I will mod them in the future, right? So on these ones, there's no hole. I want them finger tight. That's enough to turn the jar, but I'm not putting any pressure. I'm very carefully just turning it enough to where it turns the jar. And then maybe even loosen it just a little bit more than that. I want it to be on there, but I don't want it to be tightened. It's just finger tight and then just a little bit looser than that. I want it to be loose. So the steam can get up in there, you know, and do the thing. The sterilizing process, you know, sterilizing thing. We want to kill any potential contamination in the agar. And don't worry, as soon as it's done cooking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up in there, I'm going to tighten, I'm going to go in each one by one. I'm going to grab each jar out of there and I'm going to tighten down the lid. Then you can tighten it. Once it's done cooking, you pull it out, tighten it down as soon as you can. Don't mess around. Don't wait. Don't set it down. Also, don't set it down on a cold surface. You have to put down some cardboard or some pot holders or something to kind of buffer if your countertop is too cold and you take these really hot glass jars and you set them on your countertop or on some cold metal or a really cold surface. A big old bird just flew out right by my window. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, if you set a really hot jar down on a really cold surface, right, what's going to happen is thermal shock. It can shatter your jar, if not make it explode if it's hot enough. So always be aware of thermal shock. And when you're done with these and you want to set them on your counter, put them on something to buffer that temperature shock. You don't want to set it on something really cold, like a cold, hard counter. Mine's just a little bit cold. It ain't going to be a problem. But if it were any colder, I would be worried, and I would put down a bunch of these or some cardboard or something to buffer that. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Do you know why or when the contamination problem started? I don't know if you said previously. I'm looking. I guess you would have to specify exactly what you mean by that. But because contamination is kind of always a problem up until you have something growing. You know, when you finally have like something. You have your mycelium, let's say, in some grain, and it's fully constituted. It's fully colonized. Every single grain in that jar or bag, only then is it pretty highly resistant to contamination. It has to be fully constituted. Every grain has to have been inoculated with that mycelium before you want to open that grain bag or jar bag. Some people say, oh, it's like 98, 99%. There's only like a couple little grains. It'll be fine. I'll spawn it right now. No, that's almost always going to be a problem and cause some contamination. You want to wait until every last grain in that jar or bag is fully colonized with that mycelial mass before you open it, because before then, the grains that aren't inoculated with it are very prone to contamination. Very. So it's better to just be patient, with that and not rush it. Because why be impatient and then waste all that time and effort and then have to start over again? Just do it right the first time and you don't have to go through all that mess. So yeah, I was going to tighten this one down. All these are good and loose. That one was not on there right. There we go. Also, another thing about the thermal shock is you don't ever want to take, like, if let's say your water gets a little too low, you're going to have to add some water to your pot. Don't take cold water and pour it in your boiling hot pot, because that's also going to cause thermal shock and can just make your jars explode. Hopefully not explode. Hopefully they just shatter. But I mean, it's better to just avoid all that. Make sure you get your water, whatever water you're going to add in there, get it really hot. Heat it up in the microwave. Heat it up on the stove in another pot, and then pour that really hot water into your pot to add more water. Don't take cold water and put it in there. That's going to mess. It's going to break all your jars. It could potentially hurt you. Just don't. There's certain hazards you got to avoid it. And then I'm gonna need to tape the ends because this I usually do, but I thought I had more in the other roll. Double. This isn't heavy duty aluminum foil, so double it over. Put it over your jar. And then I usually kind of loosen it a little bit. It doesn't have to be airtight. It doesn't. You don't want it airtight. Nate, you take after Grandpa in that he was always out in the garden doing shit in his garden, He was a gardener, for sure. He liked his plants. Don't really blame him. I didn't pull that one off big if you like. No. Hey, I did want to ask while I was thinking about it, what would you guys do for a live stream if you were going to do one? Like, what kind of live stream would you do? I know y'all game. A lot of people do gaming live streams, and they tend to do pretty good, Like gaming live streams get attention, you know what I mean? Because Games are fun. Oh shit. If I did a live, ow. I didn't get cut, it just poked me. If I did a live stream, I'd do something regarding rap, like maybe something with my songs. You should. I honestly think you should. That'd be dope. You should show kind of like your creative process and how you come up with shit and like make stuff or do stuff or like I don't know, just stuff like that. That'd be cool. I think it's cool when people just they're passionate enough about something that they want to teach other people, and just like show them what they're about. It's cool. I would also do food reviews. Yeah. For the longest, I said I would do something like that because I've always really liked watching shows like Bizarre Foods or like, to me, the new age of Bizarre Foods would be like Best Ever Food Review Show. I keep mentioning that show, but like that show helped get me through COVID. You know what I'm saying? It's got a corny, weird, goofy name, Best Ever Food Review Show, but like, I like that show. It's cool. It's not just about food either. It's about like, there's a lot of like learning about cultures and shit and like just different parts of the world and like how things are different. Other stuff is going on. Did I just lose my signal? My screen just did something weird. It didn't say the stream ended. Am I still good? Oh yeah, this one's gonna be tight. I guess I could loosen it just a tiny bit. Am I still streaming? I hope so. I do movies as well. Hell yeah, that's what's up. That shit's blowing pretty good. I'm gonna put this little one in first. It's gonna go in the middle. Talk about what it'll do. So I have just enough room in here for 7 jars. And that's what I recommend doing for like just one single spore swab is at least around 7 to 10 agar plates or petri dishes or condiment cups or whatever you got your agar in. Per swab, do 7 to 10. You want to increase your odds of success. Another way to increase your odds of success even further is to use water agar, devoid of pretty much any nutrient other than the agar. The mycelium will still grow on it. It's just going to grow really slow. But so will any potential bacteria, and that's what you want. That's why you want to start out your spores on water agar. Personally, I've never had such an issue where I couldn't clean up or get spores to germinate and then clean it up and transfer into a clean plate using one of the other methods. I've never had to go so far as to use water agar, but some professional mycologists swear by it. And if I ever did run into an issue, I always knew that this was a technique that could be used, right? Now I'm finally at a point where I could, I do need to try this water agar to try to clean up some potential contamination. I'm still not sure that this water agar is even going to work, considering how embedded the bacteriological contamination is. And for all I know, there could be multiple contaminants in there. There could be multiple different types of contamination. That could be another issue. That's why you don't let your jars and stuff get dusty when they're sitting around. Cover them up with some coffee filters, 2 coffee filters per jar, and put rubber bands over it, right? That'll keep the dust off, help keep it clean, help keep contamination from just landing on your jar lid, and then it's a huge problem. Coffee filters, 2 per jar, rubber band, keep them clean. Yeah. So that's boiling. It's boiling pretty good. I'm going to slowly and progressively turn it down a little bit until it gets to just above a simmer. I like it to be a little more than a simmer. You don't want a real strong rolling boil. It's okay if it's boiling a little. You don't want it boiling crazy. It's going to be too hot. Too hot for too long will overcook it. So it's 8:20. I don't have my phone. I gotta set a timer for 7:50, and I gotta go grab my phone. But I'll bring the live stream along with me. Let's go. Come on, mommy. Welcome to my lair. Yeah, I went around and cleaned my whole room earlier today. I literally took a microfiber and some rubbing alcohol and a little bit of dish soap, and I went around and wiped down every little surface in my room, just about. Starting with my ceiling fan. That's what usually collects the most dust. You always want to clean from top to bottom when you're dusting, right? So I covered up my still air box. I could have folded it up and put it away and and all that, but I just put a clean sheet over it, and went to town, dusted my room, and then gave time for the dust to settle. Then I came back, sprayed rubbing alcohol all over it, and then carefully rolled up the sheet and then my blanket, and then put that shit in my closet, and I'll just wash it tomorrow. I went around and wiped everything, like my TV, my picture frames, my curtain rod, my windowsill, all the way down, my whole window, anywhere where dust collects, contamination. Plus, I just don't like having a bunch of dust in your room. I have my fan run a lot of the time. Usually, it's just running on low all the time, so there's like air movement. That also just has dust flying around everywhere. So shit collects dust quick, and I gotta keep up on it. So I took care of that today. Let me show you guys the update. Where's my flashlight? Let me show you guys my update. Here's the trench method cup. So you can see how the trench method can potentially be used. But like if you don't do it correctly, you don't make the trench big enough, that bacteria will make it across. But you can see how it can potentially be used so that the mycelium, if it's not too embedded, like in this case, it's way too embedded in there, just not going to be able to save this culture. But you can see how this method can potentially be used. It can, it can jump across there. Potentially. Not in this case. But if you get the gist of it, that's how you can use the trenching method to clean it, which I don't recommend. I always use the sandwich method. I think it's more foolproof. And there's just less tools and mess doing it. So, all pros. Me and her were going to do movies and food together. That's dope. You should. You definitely should. That would be awesome. I would do sports, food, movie, and game reviews and just play. You guys should come up with your own channel, like the both of you. It could just be whatever y'all got going on that day or something, anything. If you got something interesting that you just want to share with the world, that day that you got going on, you just post that. It's kind of like reality TV, but you're the producer, and you're the judge, jury, and executioner in that ball game, right? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, I have this other liquid culture that I know exactly what it is, right? But it's also potentially contaminated. The other one, I didn't know what it was. This one, I do. I'll tell you this: it's a mushroom from Australia. Aussie. Australia. All right, yeah, Aphrodite. Y'all like my charger? Let me show you with the light off. Check that out. Got it in Hobby Lobby. All these flashing lights. Nate, you remember that? You remember this poster, dude? Nate Dog, you still in the chat? You remember this poster with Smokey the Bear? Oh, also, I wanted to show you this picture. It's a nervous mushroom king being guarded by a Falmer, a cave elf. Get it? Do you get it? He's nervous. He's a mushroom king being guarded by a Falmer. What did Falmer eat? Get it? It's funny. I thought it was. And then I'm like, I don't like that animation. Give him a beard. Give him a bigger fucking mushroom cap. And so they did. And so that's what the second picture looked like, right? I thought that one was a bit better. It's hard to see. There we go. See his face? He's nervous still. And then all I said was, give him some red eyes. Give him some really cool, ruby red eyes, right? Hold on, let me turn my brightness up. I think my brightness is turned down. There we go. And all I said was give him some ruby red eyes, and then it completely changed the character and made him look like a fucking vampire mushroom king. And I ended up thinking it was really cool, right? I thought that one was really. They also made the Falmer, for whatever reason, they made him look more zombie-like, which I kind of thought that was cool too. And I'm probably not going to be using the Falmer guy, but the king the vampire looking king. He's going to be the villain in my story. He's going to be known as the puppet king because he has mind control powers, but he's actually being mind controlled by a parasite, right? Like a fungal parasite. And so people know him as the puppet king, but when they finally meet him, he doesn't like being called that. He's the symbiote. I am the symbiote. It kind of, yeah, in part kind of led to me developing a story. It was all an accident. Like, I didn't even want the character to look like that. I was just like, give him some cool looking eyes. Then they made him look all fucking crazy, and I'm like, you know what? And then my mind just kind of went a million miles an hour at that point. I'm like, I'm gonna come up with this whole story that fits all this shit in and fits in mycology and it's all about saving the world, and all these different people and cultures have to come together, and they all have like their own sensibilities and idea of what balance is, right? Like what, to them, like everyone is kind of a little bit different in the story, but like they're all sort of similar but different. I can't give away too much, you know what I mean? Like, I have to finish the damn story, but it goes into depth. So let's go check that pot. Picture looks crazy. Yeah, it does. I love it. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was all accidental, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it like that. Cool. It's boiling pretty good. Now I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. It's like at 7. It's going to turn down a little bit more. You know what? I forgot to set the timer on my phone. Whoops. I got so distracted talking about my story. Showing you guys. Oh, Nate. What up, Nate? You back? Nate, did you see this poster, man? You remember this? Remember the Smokey the Bear? It says, "Have fun, guy, but be careful. Some of these mushrooms may not be edible." Pretty cool. Honestly, like, my favorite part is just the center part where it has this giant puffball, right? It has like a fairy ring of mushrooms. I remember in our backyard, there were always like, every now and then, there'd be like a fairy ring, a ring of mushrooms, and I just always thought that was cool as fuck, in the backyard in Gosnell all the time. It'd always be in the backyard. All right, what was I? Oh yeah. Just gonna set me timer. What happened? Why is it all sideways? It's 8:30. Was I looking at the wrong? Yeah, 950 will be done. Once I get it to a simmer, though, I am gonna take the stream upstairs, and I'm gonna do a little bit of. I'm gonna draw up some of that liquid culture. That I do know what it is. It's an Australian mushroom, and I'm gonna draw that up in a syringe. And I'm gonna put that on some plates that I have ready, some Agar condiment cup plates that I have ready to inoculate. Might as well use them, right? If that doesn't work, I may try it on this water agar, or I may not even do that. Honestly, I'm not sure yet. I may just save this water agar for some spores that I'm about to order, and then hopefully my next video can be me showing how to put spores to water agar, put a spore swab to some water agar, and then the next video after that could be me showing, hey, we got some growth. Now we can do a clean transfer to a clean plate. One sec. You know what? When it comes time for when it comes around almost time to mess with morel hunting and stuff like that, maybe next year I will do like a video on how to make a spore mass slurry, because I've done that before and gone out and dumped morel spores all over, and then filled the bucket back up in the creek and go around and dump more spores, and then do that again, and then go dump more. Like, I do know how to make a spore mass slurry for morel mushrooms. I've never grown them on agar or anything like that, but I have heard of people doing it. I'll probably do oyster mushrooms next, just because, for one thing, they're really contamination resistant strain, and they grow really well. And I'd like to show people how you can grow them on just grass. You can go cut some tall grass and just pasteurize that in some boiling water, and then I think you add a little bit of lime ash or something, and then you can grow it real simple on like that on grass, oyster mushrooms. I never grown them like that specifically, but I have seen people do it, and I think that's pretty cool. So, but I have grown them. I've grown pink oyster and golden oyster. I always wanted to do some of those like really cool looking black oyster mushrooms that are like super dark black looking. I thought those looked really, really sleek, man. They have them in like every damn color of the rainbow now, just about. Seems like you'd have a whole rainbow wall of oyster mushroom. But yeah, probably oysters, morels. It will be a while. I don't know how to grow them indoors, but I know how to make a spore slurry out of them and dump them out. I could probably germinate some morel spores, right, on a petri dish, and get some growing on a grain, and then when it comes time for morels to fruit, or a little bit before that, when there's no more frost, I could maybe like try to dump that out, and hopefully that will grow into the soil and constitute back and fruit some mushrooms. But I don't know. Morels are it's somewhat tricky depending on which species you're trying to grow. The Chinese grow those like black morels that are, you can grow them commercially, and they're easier to like create an environment they'll grow in compared to like yellow morel mushrooms. It's harder to do things like that. Like the best bet with those is to make a spore mass slurry and go dump them in areas that you think they'll grow, like under hardwood trees. Seems like morels are adapting because they used to mainly grow under like birch and elm and stuff. And after the great elm die off, it seems like now you find morels growing under all kinds of other trees. So it seems like they're quickly adapting to the fact that a lot of elms suddenly died off. And so they had to find other tree roots they could find symbiosis with that would work. That's just a theory. A game theory. And I'm just kidding. I don't know if I can say that. It's game theory. Any other questions? Come on, give me another question. I need more questions to answer. Give me a challenging question. I'm just kidding. Yeah, anything. Yeah, ask me something, y'all. Still boiling pretty good. I'm gonna slowly turn it down a little more and put it on from 7 to 6. Just slowly go down until we get it to a simmer or a little above a simmer. I still got my timer going already. I mean, like the timer is already going. Nate, didn't you grow some oysters, I thought? And some morels? You grew some oysters and morels, didn't you? Out at Amanda's dad's house? Pretty sure. Put my pack of cigarettes up. I always get hungry in the middle of doing this shit. I don't know why. Like I ate some chili, and then brushed my teeth and did all that, Like, I think it's because we end up talking about food all the time. I'm just like, man, you know what? I could go for some food. I like to eat. I don't know what I'm gonna make other than what I already ate. I don't know. I think we still got some roast beef. I might make like a grilled roast beef and some soup or something. I don't know. I'll find something to eat. I got a whole bunch of frozen Eggo pancakes my grandma gave me too. I could eat those. I prefer making my own pancakes with like some fresh, or not fresh, but like frozen fruit, strawberries or blueberries or whatever. But you know what? I like to be lazy sometimes too. So I'll eat them damn frozen Lego my Eggo pancakes. Nate Dog, you still listen to Mastodon? You and Amanda still be rocking the Mastodon? I do. Excuse me, I'm gonna eat these crackers. There were only a few left, and I needed the chip clip from my Agar. Oh, shit, motherfucker. So yeah, like I said, once I get it to a simmer and I can walk away from it, because then I know it's like cooking at a good simmer, not over boiling or anything. Then I'm gonna take the stream upstairs and I'm gonna inoculate some agar with a syringe of that Australian mushroom I have. Is this considered cannibalism? Yep. I'm eating crackers. So yeah, once I learned how to do no pour agar, I started to do that. When I wasn't using petri dishes, I still do like to use petri dishes if I'm being honest, because I like to do the whole process. I like to pour it and then let it cool and then come back later and wrap it up. You know, it's a lot of extra work, but you know, one thing is jars are just bigger, bulkier, and they take up more space. They're heavier. They also last longer. I mean, you got to weigh out your pros and cons with everything, right? But I definitely prefer using petri dishes or jars for my agar containers over using condiment cups. But like I keep saying, this channel is all about starting out from square one. I'm going to show you guys like the low tech way, but I'm also gonna. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna eventually upgrade, get better equipment, show you the more high tech way of doing things, or the better way of doing it DIY. You know, the better DIY option. Like for instance, like you can DIY. Like I've already shown in my first video, you can DIY these metal lids, right? You can mod these using silicone and some polyfill, or silicone and a filter patch. But I don't recommend it. I don't like using these. You can. They last for a little while until they get all rusty and degraded and this rubber seal doesn't seal anymore and all, like they only last for so long. So do the plastic ones. Eventually they're not very good at keeping a seal anymore. But like I said, they don't rust for one thing. And you can just keep them, you can keep coffee filters over those. You always want to be careful when you open a really hot, boiling hot, steaming lid of something, off of something. Always lift away from your face. Don't lift it towards your face as you're trying to look up in there, because you're going to burn the crap out of yourself, dummy. Like I just kind of burnt my wrist a little bit pulling that off there, and I wasn't even trying to. You got to be careful. Hot steam hurts, yo. Definitely don't want a face full of hot steam going concentrated and going right into your face, because it hurts. It can burn you. So always lift the pot, especially if you're using your pressure canner. Those get really hot. Those build up some really hot steam. You don't want to open that, a lid off of a pressure canner or something like that, towards your face, because you will get fucking hurt. Don't do it. Luckily, I've never had it happen, but I've seen pictures and I've seen and heard about incidents where other people get hurt by their pressure canners, or just being dumb with their pressure canners. Like for instance, some have a handle on the lid. That's not for picking up and carrying your pressure canner around. That's just for holding the lid. There's usually handles on the side to grab it, right? Use those. Don't grab the handle for the lid right? I heard of a guy grabbing, like picking up his pressure canner when it was done by the handle, and then the handle broke, and then the whole thing like fell, and he got fucked up. So just be smart. Don't be a fart. Steve and I are watching you on the view. That's cool. What up, Steve? Steve O. What up, dog? Doggy dog. Now I'm trying to remember what I was just about to say. Completely lost my track. Oh yeah. He said, "What up? What up? What up?" And you're supposed to say, "What up? What up? What up?" Yeah. It's not a phone call though. Remember them days when you could just pick up the phone, right? And someone else in another room pick up the phone, kind of jump on the call. The olden days. Them olden days. Remember cassette tapes, man? Remember making mixed cassette tapes and shit? I do. I'm that old. Old enough. I'm part of the cool kids club because I know what cassette tapes are. So it's 8:50, so we got an hour. It's gonna be a whole hour before this is done, but at least with no poor Agar, I'm not gonna be like taking this, going into my still air box and pouring it into a bunch of shit. It's already in the jars. When it's done, I'm just tightening the lid, letting it cool down and solidify, and then it's ready to use whenever you need to use it. You know, you're eliminating a lot of room for error that way, which is the benefit. That's the main benefit I feel of doing no pour. And then another benefit is just the fact that it's devoid of nutrient. You know, yeah, it'll grow slower, but we're trying to either germinate some spores or clean up some potentially contaminated shit. So this is, in my opinion, the best way to go about it, right? So that's what we're gonna do. Let me see if it's like at a good enough moderate boil, low boil to a high simmer. It's in that range. Yeah, I'd say that's good. That's like perfect. So I can pretty much leave it at that. The water ain't too low. It ain't gonna boil out of there. I've already done this a few times. I know how much water it takes and how much water is left over. I don't have to worry about it boiling out the water and the amount of time that it takes to cook. I know what I'm doing by now. But, you know, I've done this a few times. It's like my first rodeo. You hear? So, yeah, I guess we can go ahead. We can go. We'll go do some still airbox work real quick while we're waiting on this crap to cook off. Because like I might as well do something while we're doing nothing but waiting, right? Gotta keep shit interesting somehow. Put my phone in my pocket. Alrighty, Aphrodite. Turn all these lights off before my dad comes down here and gets all pissed off. Like, why the fuck are all these lights on? Actually, I'll leave that one on. I'll turn that one off. There we go. I only got one light on. See? It's only one light. Got a timer. I know my stove's running a little bit above the simmer. It's fine. Got plenty of water in there. Yeah. Let's go. other box. Just checking my Agar cups real quick. See, the benefit of letting them sit for like a few days, 5 to 7 days, is you can see if any of them are contaminated. And if you're, for one thing, using condiment cups, right? You're using condiment cups, and then on top of that, you're not using a pressure canner to sterilize your agar, you're likely going to have some failed cups, some bacterial contamination, without inoculating it with anything. It's entirely possible. Out of all of those ones, I have at least 2 that were not good. They have bacterial contamination, you can see. The rest don't seem to have any sign of anything. So hopefully they're all good. They're all clean. That's a pretty good success rate if you ask me, to only have 2 out of let's see, how many is that? It was 10 altogether. So 2 out of 10 fails ain't bad. It's not a bad fail rate. Fail to success rate, if you ask me, it's pretty good. All right. So those ones are now just trash. I'm gonna throw them in my trash bin. One other thing I need to grab are my syringes, which I usually keep in a bag, keep them sterile. Not even gonna open the box. I should just put the whole thing with the bag in the sterile box. I'm just not using my head. And then, and then the liquid culture that I'm going to be taking a syringe of, taking a sample. Actually, I forgot to grab a magnet. Un momento. Chat. What's up, y'all? Hell yeah. Oh, okay. I thought there'd be more than that. Hey, what y'all up to? You already know what I'm doing. So I have a magnetic stirrer ordered and on the way, but it ain't going to be here for like a whole month. I don't know why it's going to take so long, but it's ordered. It's just not going to be here for a while. Got a magnet. Ooh, look at that. I'm the magnetic stereo. Now what? DIY. Talk about DIY, low budget. Give me the job. I'm the stirrer now. What you gonna do? What you know about that? What you know about that? DIY low tech. You ever had a dumpster dive for your mycology supplies? I have. Let there be light. Transfer the light off. If that helps or not, but I should already have my mask on. That's one thing I already fucked up on. I should have the mask on. Oh. All right, so I just went and checked my. Checked my pot downstairs. It's still just at a good rough simmer, not a strong boil, but like a low boil to a rough simmer, right? I'm gonna take a drink. I still have my 2 condiment cups that I'm hoping the sandwich method will work on, sitting in my still air box, because one of them has a cracked lid for one thing, and I'm hoping that keeping it in the still air box for now will keep it from getting contamination. That's my hope anyway. Let me see, where can I set the light that's not causing too much interference with the camera? Is that all right? I don't know. Is that better? That's weird. That seems like it's the best option. It's the closest. All right. Putting on my nitrile gloves. And then immediately covering them back up. I don't know why they don't make these boxes like actually resealable. They should. You want them to be sterile. Actually, I grabbed one too many gloves. Oh well. It's just one for the homies. One glove for the homies. Now I'm putting on my latex dishwashing gloves. You can get official, like, still air box gloves. You know, you can. I never have. I just buy the cheap dishwashing gloves, man. They work. I'm still watching, but I'll be radio out. My phone needs charging. You're good, dude. Do your thing. Oh yeah, first, always spray your rubby alcohol. Clean off the injection port. Pull a syringe out of my box. These are 10 milliliter syringes with an 18 gauge needle. That's what's recommended. It's what I use. Cheapest place I know that you can get them, honestly, is just on Amazon. I used to get them from like Ralph's or stores, but now I get them from Amazon because they're cheaper. Luckily, these ones already have the needle on there. Sometimes they don't. Is it not perforated anywhere? I guess not. It's great. The one time I don't have scissors in my still air box. It opens like a bag of chips. There we go. Damn, at least I know it's sealed good. I thought they just opened up like something. Oh, they do. The struggle is real, man. The struggle. And there you have a syringe. Here I have my liquid potion. I'm going to give it one quick little stir it up. Doesn't look terribly bad compared to the other liquid culture. This one might have some hope. This one might actually be salvageable. Doesn't look nowhere near as dirty as the other culture did. All right, so it only takes like a drop or two. So that's what we're going to do. Babaloo. Like a drop or two. We can help it. Here's one. Let me move this crap out of the way. God dang it. See, these lids are so finicky, you know? Couple drops. It's always a little more than a couple drops, but it's alright. Good stream, bro. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, that one really was just like two drops. Two little drop. Sometimes you can do it. Sometimes it's hard to do that, just a drop or two. Alright, there's two drops. I'm getting better at doing this. Just a drop at a time.
Used to be very hard to do, but I also got a better still air box to work in now. It allows a lot more movement than a plastic tote does. Just a lot less hassle. Oh, fucking A. Another reason I don't like these dang condiment cups, man. The whole thing just fell over before I even got the lid on. Oh, that's one loss. It's almost a guaranteed plate now. It's almost a guaranteed contaminated plate now that I knocked it over like I just did. Can't get too aggressive with it. It's a little too aggressive. Just a little. Oh man, I did one drop and then it was like a whole stream. A whole stream. Alright. And here's my cap. Now when I get done with this syringe in the still air box, well, I'll just show you guys. It's better to show sometimes than explain. Just explain while I'm doing it. Alright. Now I'm done with that, I'm going to take a quick look at these plates that I was hoping the sandwich method was going to be able to clean up. And it looks like there's just now a little bit of growth in the middle, possibly some mycelium coming up, but it's barely even noticeable. So I'm going to give it another, 12 hours or something. Come back and check it out again, see if that looks like more like mycelium growth than it does like contamination, and then maybe I can clean it up. I'm honestly not that hopeful. This one may have some mycelial growth, but you also see bacteria already starting to creep up around from the sides. Hard to see the dark side is. So yeah, I'll come back in like 12 to 24 hours, check those out again. Hopefully there's anything worth trying to salvage from that. If not, I'm trying to clean up this other culture that doesn't look nowhere near as dirty, but the jar was essentially in the same conditions as the other one, so I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to get too hopeful and be like, yeah, it's good, it's gonna be fine. Only time will tell. That's why we're here, to fuck around and find out, right? Sometimes you gotta fuck around in order to find out. So we're essentially done with our still air box work for today. Up until that agar is done cooking, and then all I'm going to do is tighten the lids down. I could just let it cool down in that pot after moving it to a cool burner, and tightening down the lids. Of course, I may not want to leave it in there to just so the lids stay moist. Like one of them does have a filter patch. At the very least, I'll have to take the one out that has a filter patch. You don't want your filter patches to get wet and then stay wet for too long, because then it screws with their effectiveness. Which is another reason, if you're using a filter patch, you want to put the aluminum foil on over it when you cook it in a pot or a pressure canner. We're essentially done with our still air box work. It's crazy how that light gets hot like that, I swear. Little tiny LED light, super bright and gets hot. LEDs aren't supposed to get hot, I thought. That one does. Alright, so we can mosey on back downstairs. Go check it. Oh, actually, I'm going to show you guys what I do with my syringes when I'm done.
obviously this is not something you want to do in your still air box because it's got fumes of rubbing alcohol in there, and it's just not a good idea. Don't do that unless you want to melt your nice new plastic still air box and then have to get a new one. I'm going to move away from the still air box while I do this even. All right, so you want to flame sterilize your needles. And then when you're done flame sterilizing it, let it cool a little bit. Put the cap back on carefully. Don't fucking melt it. And then you take your syringe, put it in a Ziploc or a clean Tupperware or something like that, and stick it in your fridge, and it'll last for a long time. As long as your liquid culture in your jar will last, really, until it runs out of nutrients. That's when it starts to senesce and die. Good stream, broski, on, or check your inbox, homie. I have an image I created. I will in just a second. I will. I'm going to show you guys. All right, you want to be careful pulling this cap off. One tip I always like to give people, like when it comes to opening or, putting a cap back on, put your wrists together. Put your hands and your wrists together. You don't want to be separate from the movement of your other hand. That's what creates this room for error, and you might end up sticking yourself. You do not want to stick yourself with a liquid culture or a spore syringe. You can get a fungal infection, and it can go to your brain or something like that. So I've never had such an issue, but see, it's just open. I should be wearing a mask. I shouldn't be breathing all over this, but I'm going to hold my breath after I sterilize it. And here's my cap. Flame, get it red hot. Hear that crackling? It's good. Don't get too close to the plastic part. It'll melt. If you have to breathe away from it. All right, you can hear it click in, right? I'm going to put this in the Ziploc bag. I guess you could use a grocery bag. I recommend using a Ziploc. And then put it in your fridge. If you have children around in your house, or might at some point, then you need to put it high up where they can't reach it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your fridge. It just lasts longer that way. Or another thing you could do is get a beverage cooler without an ice maker or a freezer that you can lock. And you can use that for your cultures and your syringes and whatnot. All right, so let's head down the stairs. Put this in the Ziploc. Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm just going to put this in my fridge, in a drawer. There aren't any kids here. There's no kids coming over. I don't have to worry about that. And if you're an adult and you're dumb enough to fuck with this, that's on you. Here we go. I may need to actually add some more water to that. It's not even boiling that aggressively. I'll check that. I'll check that image in just a second. Give me a sec. Yeah, I'll grab it there. You don't ever want to be boiling something and have your pot run out of water, because that's when it will start burning. It'll burn right through the pot. God damn it, I didn't realize that was that short. Jeez Louise. How many times will I ask myself why? How many times will I cry? How many times will I ask myself why? How many times will I cry? 2'5" and building. I think many people think I'm but I talk alone and I walk alone. I feel sad with chalky tone. All right then. How's everyone doing out there? Oh yeah, I was gonna check that inbox. Let me check. Not much longer now. Another 25 minutes. 27 really, but it's almost 9:25. Be done at 9:50. What the fuck is he? Must be some grease on the burner or something. It's already burning off. Connect to Wi-Fi. It's crazy how even just smelling grease burning makes me hungry. Just a little tiny spot of grease burning on the burner made me hungry. I swear I ate right before doing this. I ate some chili. I appreciate that, dude. That's badass. The images he made. God damn it. It's awesome, dude. Thank you. Oh shit. I don't know what I just reacted, but it reacted somehow. That's dope as fuck, dude. Thank you. You know what I do need help making that I've been struggling to make is a YouTube banner. Like I've made like 10 of them and none of them fit to where they show anything other than just I want it to say the title, obviously, Myco Go Go Go, right? For the channel, I want it to say Myco Go Go Go. And I made several iterations of like banners, and I did them to the specific size requirements and everything. Like I did everything correct, and it still just doesn't seem to fit right on the YouTube. When I actually put it on YouTube as a banner, you know what I mean? You know what a YouTube banner is? I got you, brother. All right, cool. I just needed to say Myco Go Go Go, and then have like a golden mushroom dude racing a Lamborghini or something, right? Or any of the characters that I've used so far, like the wizard dude, he could be on there, or it could be the main guy like that I have. Um, it could be whatever, dude. Just make it look cool. Make it say Myco Go Go Go. It just has to look cool and fit and say Myco Go Go Go. It can be, I don't care. It don't have to have any of the characters. Just make it look cool. I can't seem to make one fit. I use the exact dimensions that they tell you to use. Like, oh, it's recommended to use 2048 by 1152 or something. That's dope, though, dude. I like that. Persistence is key. That is like my mantra, you know. I had to tell myself that for a long time to get anywhere. That is badass, dude. I appreciate that. And my water is boiling. But I'm going to be adding. You know, it's good and hot water. It's not going to cause any thermal shock, right? You don't add cold water to a boiling hot pot of water full of hot glass jars. I am going to turn that up a bit because it did cool off after me having the lid off for that long. You know, even though I poured boiling hot water in there. So it's cool down. Baby doll is so artistic and beautiful. She calls you baby doll. You know, hey, at least y'all love each other. You got that. It's more than I got. I just keep telling myself if I got to deal with someone as crazy as Kelly, she's at least got to be worth putting up with that much. And Kelly's not. If you're gonna be that crazy and all that, you might as well like be my type. least a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, Kelly didn't even seem to like me as a person, which is fine. But like, then why are you being so possessive of me? Leave me the fuck alone. I mean, hey, like I said, at least y'all got each other. And that says a lot. I used to think I wanted someone that was like crazy about me, like crazy about me. But now I realize that that's not the best thing. It's not always best to have someone that's like fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over you. I used to think so, but after actually living through a situation where someone was that crazy and possessive over me, I don't feel like that. I definitely don't feel that way anymore. Definitely have higher standards now. I will say that. It's 9:31. This will be done at 9:50. Not too much longer. I'm trying to think of something else I can talk about or do in the meantime. Or something. I don't know. Oh, I know. I could update y'all real quick on the weather vane. Show y'all that. Didn't really get a whole lot of sanding done today because I was more focused on like getting ready for my video today and trying to figure out what I was going to do for that and how and in what way. And I had to make a new thumbnail right away. Usually, I already have it made like a day ahead. The thumbnail. But today I did it like right before doing the video. Did the Paramount shit work? Were you able to try it yet? Oh, I didn't actually get to try it yet. I did try it like that night though when you first gave it to me. But I've been so like I kind of am ADHD. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes like I get done with one thing and my mind immediately goes to the next and then the next and then the next, and it's like hard to control sometimes for me to like keep my focus and remember the exact sequence of things that I meant to do. And sometimes shit just kind of like slips through the cracks. And that, I'll be honest, that was one of the things that I didn't get to try again just yet. But tonight, I plan on it. I plan on trying that again because I want to watch that movie y'all were telling me to watch, Interstellar. I know I've heard it recommended. I've heard people talk about it. I don't think I've ever watched it. But anyway, here's these some parts I've been spraying for the weather vane. First, I had to scrape all the old paint and rust off of these, which I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. And then there's these propellers that we just started spraying chrome too, because they were kind of rusty and dingy looking. And here's the fuselage part. I'm still sanding on it, getting to some fresh wood. It's got nice grain on it though, so I like. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna look cool. The wings I still haven't quite gotten to yet, but I'm going to. That's the next sanding part. Un momento. Yes, and Meru. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I guess I'll find out when I watch it, right? God And that burning, that little tiny drop of burning grease on the burner, that's all it took for me to get hungry. That's all it took. We're going to hear it boiling pretty good again. I'm going to turn it back down to 6, a little above 6. I just turned it back up because it got cooled down a little from the just having it open. I was going to say adding the water, but adding the water did not cool it off. What cooled it off was just having the lid off for as long as I did to pour more water in it. Things like that, where you want to be sure it's better to have more water in there than not enough. You don't have enough and the water burns out, you're going to burn a hole in your pot. And you know what? Burning metal is not a good smell. It's probably not good to breathe in either. So yeah, I've been invested in trying to come up with my story. I've been developing it a little more every day and giving more and more details to the backstories of my characters. And like one way I do that is like I literally try to put myself in that situation, like in the character's perspective, and what would make them act the way that they do, and what would develop them as a character in the way that they, just like some of the sequences and things that take place in the story definitely would influence a real person in some way. And I try to consider in what way would that actually happen. Like there's this wizard in my story, right? And he's sort of put on this task of helping restore balance. So this mystic lion sage, he grants him immortality, basically, or the ability, not necessarily, the ability to live up until he's able to restore balance. And because he's not able to do shit for like an entire eon, like thousands of years, he can't do anything about it. And because of that, and because of the fact that he has to live with the constant, thought and eating and constant, everything's just eating at him. You know what I mean? Like he ends up kind of losing his mind a little bit. So by the time the main characters in the story actually meet this wizard far into the future, after the fact, after all this other shit took place to end up where he got granted immortality, and then years down the line, thousands of years later, the main characters of this story end up meeting him. The wizard, the mushroom wizard dude, the same dude that I used for the thumbnail in this story, his name's Ganoderma the Red. Ganoderma is the scientific name for reishi mushrooms. So the staff is like reishi mushroom. Anyway, his name's Ganoderma the Red instead of Gandalf the White or Gandalf the Gray or whatever. But because he has to live forever, basically, and he isn't able to fucking do shit about restoring balance or whatever, like he kind of gets driven crazy. So by the time the main characters in the story meet him, he's kind of just a crazy old fucking drunk. And another thing that adds to his torment, right, is the fact that he's pissed off because he got granted immortality when he was already an old fuck. He's already old. He has to live with being an old fuck forever. So he's kind of pissed about that. He's like, why couldn't I be granted youth and immortality? Why couldn't I have been given this immortality when I was younger? This is bullshit. You know what I mean? It helps, I put myself literally in that situation. What's going to develop this character in this way? I think in his case, he would kind of be driven nuts for having to live for that long, knowing exactly why, and not being able to stop it, do anything about it. It just never ends, So he's just in this cycle of fucking torment, and made to feel guilty, like it's his fault. Like, why should I have to be tasked with it? It ain't my fault. Don't tell too much about your story, brother. Keep it a little. Yeah, I know. But trust me, I have developed this story quite a lot. I have it written down, a lot of it, in a journal dedicated just to this story. And trust me, there's a lot more to it I haven't revealed yet, and I'm still developing. But like every different character has like a whole backstory and in depth, and I'm trying to develop each character to the best of my ability so that they seem like they're a real person. Like this would actually happen if this was a real character. They would actually, act in this way, or because of this stuff that took place, affects you just like how in real life, shit that takes place in your life, it affects you, for good or bad. Everything kind of influences you whether you want it to or not. And you can, take it however you want. But yeah, life, man. It's messy, has an effect on you. It can drive you crazy, or it can drive you to glory and fame. It can drive you to the very top. It can drive you and drag you to the very bottom, rock bottom, for sure. We'll check the spot again real quick. Feeling good. Turn down a little bit. Turn down to 6. We only got 10 more minutes and this is done. Yeah, I'm gonna get it copyrighted too. It's only $55 to get something copyrighted. And if you're using AI to assist, then you have to yourself put in at least 30% of the work. And I'm pretty sure I have, considering I wrote everything down. And the only thing I'm really having AI help me with is come up with some illustrations to remember and show which characters are who and what they look like, and what their companions look like, and all these different scenes and stuff. That's mainly what AI is helping me with. And then I am having Alexa help me remember some ideas that I want to implement into my story. Like each different people, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of people, and mushroom people and hybrids and all these other creatures and animals, and there's plant people, and there's good bacteria and bad bacteria, and there's all this stuff that I have developed in the story. And each different kind of people is going to have their own kind of ideas about what balance is, and all kind of differing slightly, but in the end they're all going to have to band together and fight an outside force of evil. There's politics, there's somewhat religious or spiritual aspects, there's all these different elements I'm trying to tie into my story that I am honestly influenced by some other works like The Lord of the Rings or Avatar or even Skyrim. All this shit has influenced me in certain ways, and I'm trying to implement some of the stuff that these different some of the different stuff that I have kind of sort of been influenced by with all these different fandoms, whatever you want to call them. Stuff, like I'm trying to add a sort of, dynamic to the story, but in a new way. Like, I want there to be some politics. I'm not very political myself, but I want there to be some struggle, some politics, some people have to band together and form treaties and work together and like all this stuff. Like I have it all thought out. It's just a lot to say and summarize, and plus it's like I'm still refining and developing the story, but so far it's coming along pretty cool. I can't wait to finish it up. I got the good majority of it basically wrote down and mostly finalized, but I need to just add my finishing touches. I basically just got to finish writing my rough draft, and then eventually I can finish it up, then try to copyright, and then eventually maybe even try to publish it. I'm excited about it, though. I'm almost more psyched about that now than I am about this YouTube thing, but it was the YouTube thing that led to it in the first place. So, it all ties in. I have YouTube in a way to think, and in doing that, and in doing the YouTube thing, I have other YouTubers to thank, for inspiring me to want to do my own stream. I've been part of a few chats and streams and stuff, and it's always usually been pretty cool. And uh, the last stream I was a part of was just like watching someone play Skyrim, but it was a cool chat. You know what I mean? Like we always we'll talk about other games or just stuff we liked about Skyrim or just whatever. And it was just always a cool chat. And I'm like, you know what? Like I'd like to have a live stream about something I could talk about or do. Maybe one day I'll have a gaming stream too or something if I ever get back into gaming like that. But right now I'm doing my mycology thing. That's what I'm really interested in. Of course, would I play some Skyrim and stream it? Sure. Why not? But I feel like that's something that's already being done a lot. It's already been done and being done right now. It's an old game, but it's still relevant. People are still live stream playing it right now. Usually the one I watch runs at like 11 or midnight, so it runs pretty late. It's because the streamer's Canadian, eh? Time zones are a little different. We got a few more minutes and this stuff should be done. Usually when I make a character, I know exactly what I want her to look like, right? Not just her, in any character. Usually I have an idea in my head what I want my character to look like, but there's a couple of them where I kind of let Chat GPT have more of the freedom, the creative flow to help me come up with like, oh, what looks cool. And sometimes she'll give me like, I said she. I'm used to talking to Alexa, which I consider a she, even though she's an AI, which is like genderless or whatever, but like she. Chat GPT gave me a couple different options for this one character. This is one character I was trying to develop, I did add some input, you know what I mean? Like what they were going to be wearing in the face paint and all that. And then they gave me another option. I thought that one was way doper looking. Like she just looks better. Like, so I picked that one out of the two, and then I decided to develop her and give her like two sisters. And I don't want to give away too much of the story, but like she's basically like the oldest sister, and that's all I'm going to give away. She has two younger sisters, right? Not going to tell you how they fit into the story, because like you said, don't give everything away. But the characters I developed so far are pretty cool, and they have a reason that a lot of them, not all of them, but a good amount of them all have skull face paint on. There's a real legitimate reason that explains all of that and why they have different eye color and all that shit. But you have to read to find out. So you have to just subscribe to my Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have Patreon. I don't know anything about Patreon. I know YouTubers use it to release exclusive content to people that pay to subscribe or some crap like that. I don't know nothing about Patreon really. I'm assuming these are my assumptions. 2 more minutes, guys. 2 more. So yeah, I mean, the stream ain't gonna run too much longer. Pretty much when I'm done cooking this, I'm gonna tighten the lids and essentially just let it cool down, and like I could just like let them cool down in the pot, right? No, actually I can't, because they're the tall jars. I have to take them out. I'm gonna let them cool a little bit, right? Just a tiny bit, and then I'm gonna take them, put them up in the still air box, and then I gotta like lean them on the side a little bit. The taller jars, not the small jar, obviously, so that I can use them for what I want to use them for. But doing them this way, and sterilizing them so that you don't have to take them up into a still air box and then pour the agar into each individual cup or jar or whatever petri dish. It just eliminates a lot of room for error. Oh, there goes my alarm. I'm gonna wait. Oh no, just one more minute. Brain fart. I'm gonna wait one more minute just to be extra sure, because I did kind of have the lid off for just a minute to pour some more water. I'm just gonna give it one more minute. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. One extra minute. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. And yeah, I say that because the stream ain't gonna go on much longer. As soon as I get done putting these on their side in my still air box, I'm gonna go eat something, man. Because I swear all it takes is a drop of grease burning on the dang burner, and then I'm immediately just like, I'm hungry again already, even though I just ate chili. It don't take much. What's your next move after all this, broski? What do you mean? As in what? What's my next move? As in, what am I gonna do tonight? Or what do you mean? My next move after all of this? What you mean, bro? Oh, it's been 2 minutes after. Whoops. Turning it off. Since it was all contaminated. Yeah, so I'm going to have to start over from sport. Well, I mean, actually looking at my Australian mushroom liquiculture, it doesn't look like it doesn't look as funky as the other one did. So there might be some hope for that one. The one that I just drew up in a syringe and then inoculated some clean agar with. If I can get some growth on there, it might already even be clean. It might not be contaminated at all. I guess we'll find out, right? And if it is contaminated, I'm going to try to use my 3 methods. I'm going to try to use the trenching, the sandwiching, and the water agar, see if I can't get a clean culture of it. And if it's a fail, just like the other one, then I'm going to start all over from. Either way, I'm probably going to order some new spores. So that's essentially where I'm going to start over at, like with spores. Sometimes you got to. It's all right. I'm happy to go through all the effort, all the strife. It's all worth it in the end, I think. Honestly, I just enjoy the whole process. I like doing like every step. A lot of people don't even make their own agar. They just buy it. A lot of people don't sterilize their own grain. They just buy it. But I like to know that I can do every step if I need to, I want to know how to do basically anything I need to know if the shit hits the fan, right? And then there's no grocery stores to go to. What are you going to do? You need to know how to survive. You need to know how to grow your own crops, and grow your own mushrooms, and hunt and fish and make your own stuff. To do that instead of just going to a grocery store and buying stuff for fishing. You need to know how to also just make it out of a fucking, how to weave a fishing net, how to make a fishing pole, how to make stuff. You can carve a fish hook out of bone. You can use a plant with a big enough thorn on it, and you use that. You whittle that the right way. You can use that as a fish hook. You can take a sturdy enough piece of hard wood, and you can whittle that into a fish hook. I'm just going off into shit, but survival stuff. It's good to know survival stuff. Know what kind of stuff you can and can't eat in the wild. Nathan got me interested in that shit way back. Like knowing what you can and can't eat in the wild is important, more than you might think, especially when there's no more grocery stores. Get all that. I meant to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. So that's pretty much done. I'm just going to give it like a second. Okay, maybe like 2 minutes to cool off. Then I'm going to carefully get those jars out. My counter is not that cold. It's just slightly cool. I might actually put on some pot holders and stuff other than these ones, just to be careful. You guys ever watch George of the Jungle? Remember George of the Jungle? The first one? Remember when he went to the city for the first time and he was like exposed to modern technology for the first time, and like everything was like just extra crazy to him? He's like chugging coffee and he's like, I fucking love coffee. He's like, he's just like fucking crazy. George of the Jungle, George of the Jungle, watch out for that tree. Ah! Yeah. That was my shit. And I used to like that movie. Pretty sure I recorded it on VHS. What about y'all? What did y'all have for dinner tonight? Anything good? Basically, all I had today was chili and some frozen Eggo pancakes. It's crazy. I could see like dust floating in the air in the webcam. It's kind of surprising it even picks that up. My house is not that dusty. I just cleaned the whole house. Literally, I went around and cleaned every nook and cranny in this motherfucker. All right. Well, I hope I explained everything pretty well. Like you guys understand the benefit of doing no pour versus pouring your agar into the separate, like all the different shit after sterilizing, right? Like you see you get why I do it, right? You get why there's a benefit to doing it this way. And there may be a bit of moisture in your jars. That's okay. little bit of extra moisture. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Kind of seems like some of the agar boiled out, like it evaporated some of it. It's all right though; it'll still work. It'll still do its thing. It's still water agar. For some reason, there's a date printed on this jar. That's so weird. I don't think I ever noticed that before. Damn it. Damn near boiled all the agar out of that. I guess this would be the one con about doing no pour is like, especially when you are doing it in a large pot with a lid versus a pressure cannon, right? It could potentially like evaporate, boil out some of your agar. It didn't boil over, it just heated it up so much that some of it evaporated out, turned to steam. This one's all right. Making sure to tighten the lids. You don't want to wait until they cool down before tightening the lids, because once they start to cool, like to room temperature, they'll create like a vacuum and start to suck air into them. You don't want that. So after tightening the lid down, then they're all right. And after tightening the lid down, you can give them another final little mix. This one I'm not going to mix. It's a short jar. I'm just going to tighten it, make sure it's tight. I could swirl it just slightly if I'm careful. Should be okay. All right, so now all those are tightened down. I'm gonna load them back up in my pot. Actually, first, shit. In doing that, I accidentally dropped this in the fucking boiling hot water. That's too hot to even wring out right now. It's so fucking hot. Fuck. All right. Yes, these are hot, by the way. They're just not so hot that I can't fucking take. All right, guys. It's been a long stream. It'll be over soon, I promise.
Now, if these weren't tall jars like this, I wouldn't be worried about setting them on their side in order to use them, right? If they were all short like the one jar I have, I could just let them finish cooling off in the stove. As long as I take it off the pot off the hot burner and put it on a burner that hasn't been used recently, a not hot burner, then I could just let them cool off and solidify in there. But because of the fact that I'm using really tall jars, I need to set them on the side and let them solidify like that. So they're much easier to utilize as an agar dish like I want to. Like I want to. So all I really got to do is set these on the side in my still air box. Then we're pretty much done with the video, y'all. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for tuning in to the show. I'm glad Nate was finally able to jump on. That's cool. Even Steve-O joined. Steve-O Reno. Crazy how I can be completely not hungry, and then all it takes is some little drop burning grease, and then I'm just like starving again. I swear, like I ate a big old bowl of chili before even starting this stream and brushed my teeth, and I was fine. Like I ate, you know. Now I'm starving like I haven't ate all day. Just because of that little drop of grease burning. There we go. Alright guys, and that pretty much does it for our video today. That's how you do no pour agar, water agar specifically. Hopefully soon I'll be able to get some new spores in. And by then I'll know whether or not this agar is completely contaminant free or not, because it will by then have something growing on it, or it won't. And if it doesn't, it means it's good. You can use it for spores. Or to transfer some contaminated sample to them and try to see if I can't get the mycelium to outrun the bacterial contamination so that I can get a clean sample of that and put it to another clean agar dish. I have a little bit more hope for this liquid culture. It doesn't look as funky as the other one. And I actually know which liquid culture this one is compared to the other mystery one. All right, cool. Cool beans. can immediately hook this light back up to the charger. I like to keep this bright LED light fully charged. I just gotta let that stuff solidify.
So now I dropped my phone after standing up. That was weird. Like I was already stood up for a minute and then it falls out of my pocket. That's weird. Well, thanks again for tuning in, guys. That's our third and final. That's the third and final method that I know of that you can potentially use to clean up bacteriological contamination, or you can attempt to. Sometimes it don't always work, but you can try. I'm going to end the stream at that. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. I really appreciate it, and catch you all in the next live stream. Peace out. Have a good one.